Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Today you're in for a hilarious showdown, and our two heroes are about to hit the monster finally left, as if asking, "Did you need a breath?" But the sheriff's voice did the trick and caught its attention. What a pro. Facing the creature, our exhausted duo climbed with their last strength, as if in a contest. Thankfully, their escape plan worked. Clay tossed the walkie-talkie and dove into Passage B. In chaos, the monster was distracted by the walkie-talkie, shocked by a hanging body wound bursting out. That body was one of the 6 girls, a horror, but the roar sent shivers down their spines. The creature was back. They decided to use the body as a barricade, and though fear gripped their hearts, Casey mustered the courage to jump over with Clay's, and just as Casey jumped with all her might, 2 monsters attacked. Clay got tackled by one while the other zeroed in on Casey. Seeing his crush in danger, Clay turned superhero, wielding a power drill against the monster. Textbook hero moment. Just when he thought Casey was safe, she was dragged into the abyss by another monster. All things are never that simple. Casey escaped but started shouting Clay's name, wailing into the darkness, "Oh boy, that's asking for trouble." By the time she realized it was bad, it was too late. A fierce monster was on its way. Poor girl became part of the main course. Sarah and the black girl found a watery spot. Flowing water usually means a way out, but unfortunately, a dead end. They realized it was a dead end. The black girl even recorded a farewell. How tragic. Remembering her daughter who recently passed away in an accident, Sarah resolved to rescue her. Could she be turning into soup? Meanwhile, Sheriff Six faced danger as a monster snuck up behind, ready for a surprise kiss. While escaping, the sheriff tripped and was about to be the monster's lunch when suddenly a popsicle swooped in. Talk about timing. When the light shone, a familiar figure appeared, as if to say, "Who's in the mood for ice?" Juno miraculously survived. The sheriff was thrilled, claiming to rescue her. What the reunion? Juno ignored her, simply snatching the flashlight. Looks like she wanted to shine on her own. The 2 super soldiers, each dragging a dead weight, ventured off to find their escape route. What a well-coordinated team. Sarah and the black girl again found a narrow passage. It felt like playing a maze game. But little did Sarah know that monsters were lurking ahead, and the sudden appearance of Jerry scared her half to death. Sarah quickly crawled forward, but the black girl was a bit slow to react. Sarah made it inside, and it was quite a lively scene. Unfortunately, the black girl bumped into a monster, startling her. Sarah lit a flare and bravely saved her. They fell into the monster's restroom. What a smelly battle. Who knew whose hygiene habits would be worse? With their seamless teamwork, they took down the monster. Now that's what I call a spectacular collaboration. Meanwhile, Juno and the sheriff ran into a monster blocking their way. What an unexpected guest. Juno quickly used the ice pick to shut the sheriff up. Once the monster left, it was a real show. Surprise! They bumped into Sarah and the black girl coming from the restroom. Awkward reunion incoming. Juno seized, raising her ice pick to attack. Sarah struck back immediately. The 2 instantly tussled. Despite her leg injury, Juno was fierce, ready to end this dance. But the black girl suddenly jumped in, claiming that Sarah was there to save her. Sounds like the lie should take a hike, too. After hearing the black girl, Juno calmed and said they must risk to survive. Brilliant advice. Needed to head to where the monsters fed. It was dangerous, but the only path out. Talk about a scary lesson outside. However, Sarah disagreed, insisting on finding the exit herself. A stubborn decision indeed. The sheriff, in desperation, pulled out the handcuffs and forcibly linked them together. What a clever solution. They finally arrived at the cliff. There was a path, but it could only support 1 person's weight. What a single occupancy trail. Therefore, they had to proceed one at a time. Juno and the black girl made it across without a hitch. Who knows what awaited behind? But the handcuffed sheriff and Sarah faced trouble. Any fool knows to uncuff, yet the sheriff refused. That decision could spell disaster. As soon as Sarah stepped forward, the path collapsed. Oh no. The sheriff didn't fall, but Sarah was in deep trouble, racked with pain, begging Juno for help. What a tragedy. Though she initially wanted to leave, Juno decided to help Sarah after her pleas. Sometimes a hero's heart is forgiving. However, even with all their might, they couldn't pull Sarah up. What a tragic manpower shortage. To make matters worse, monsters' approach time was of the essence. Juno had to ask the black girl to chop off the sheriff's arm with the ice pick. It seemed like a path to safety. The sheriff may have perished, but at least she took 2 monsters with her. What lay ahead was the real challenge soon. they reached the monster cafeteria Gina mentioned, where quite a few munching monsters had gathered. They decided to cautiously sneak past, trying to make no noise, fearing they'd poke the hornet's nest. Just then, a hulking monster waddled in, dragging a deer behind it. Looks like dinner time was about to begin. The trio silently prayed not to alert that behemoth. They had to tread carefully to make it out alive.